In today's video, I'm going to be back in electric car driving with the Honda Civic Type R, and I'm taking on the track to see how well this thing handles. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. I'm going to launch this thing in 3, 2, 1, blast off. Now I'm doing this thing in manual mode to make it a little more fun. So hopefully we can change gears on time and not bang it too much. But it's gonna be a lot more interesting because usually I do it in auto, but I feel like I'm gonna do it in manual. But hopefully this thing handles well. Let me know what you guys think or how it's gonna handle. I feel like it should do okay as long as we brake on time, because this thing is front wheel drive, so I'm not expecting any oversteer. I'm mostly expecting understeer, but maybe it doesn't. But to be honest, I think understeer is better than oversteer, because oversteer is a little more hard to control if you're not careful. There's a lot more factors that involve oversteer than understeer. So I prefer it understeer than oversteer sometimes. It mainly depends on the car. But as I said, this thing is front wheel drive, so I'm not expecting too much problem with it. The most I'm expecting is a little understeer from here and then. So far it's doing pretty good. Or maybe the only way we can mess up is if we don't shift the gears on time. But so far I'm doing well. I'm trying not to redline it as much as possible. But it's a lot more interesting because now that I have to focus on like kind of as I would be hitting the clutch and changing the gear, I'm gonna do that now. It's a lot more interesting, to be honest. I think I'm gonna do it a little more with some of the videos, because usually I just do it in auto, as I said. Wait a minute, I'm seeing this thing oversteer. I'm not seeing correctly. Pretty sure I just saw some oversteer there. I'm not expecting this thing to have oversteer. It's oversteering. I'm pretty sure I'm seeing it a couple times now, but I wasn't too focused. But I'm pretty sure it's oversteering a little, which is actually surprising. I was not expecting any oversteer from a front wheel drive car. I know it's definitely possible. So far it's doing pretty well. Now I'm actually wondering if I had the race tires equipped. I know that I changed the suspension and stuff like that, but I didn't change the rest. I didn't check on the tires. Okay, I feel like when I brake with this thing, it gets a little wobbly as well. I feel like it's very loose in the front end, to be honest, when I'm turning. Like if I turn too sharp, it's just gonna, yeah, do something like that. The whole car just wanna go straight into the barrier if I turn too hard. So I gotta keep that in mind. Okay, changing the gears and trying to focus on the road is not very easy. Well, I would say it's really hard, but you gotta be very focused to do it. Need a hand cam. But so far I'm doing pretty well. I'm surprised I haven't crashed yet. I'm not gonna say I'm surprised, I'm actually very happy, because this thing is handling super well. Despite the little swinging around the turns, it's doing pretty well. I feel like it's doing some slip angle turns pretty much. I'm being so perfect with these gear shifts, it's not even funny. Oh, careful. You don't want the tires to touch the grass because it can mess you up very bad. If this was rear wheel drive, I'm pretty sure it would have spun out right there. I'm almost fully positive. Oh, major oversteer there. Surprised it's oversteering, to be honest. But I feel like it's just more of the tires slipping than oversteer. So far this thing is doing super well. Oh my gosh. I'm really wondering which tires I have equipped, if they're the stock or the race tires. A little rev match there. Oh, came off the road a bit. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I hit that gear shift super hard with the even though I'm hitting the keyboard. So far it's doing a lot better than I thought it would. Let me know how you guys think it would have done. Are you surprised so far? Is it handling like how you thought, or is it handling worse? I mean, there's no way it should be handling worse, because I mean we haven't crashed yet, so that's a pretty good thing. Well, I don't know why I said yet. Hopefully we don't have any crash. I'm not trying to crash. I'm not gonna let that happen. As I said, I'm not gonna let that happen. The car tried to crash on me. So far, I'm very happy with this thing. It's taking a lot more effort to climb the hill. Oh my gosh. I mean, this thing turns so well that when it turns, it's very sharp, so I gotta be careful. Because when this thing is, when the tires are like pointed in a direction and it grips, it just swings super hard. So gotta be very careful of that. And also has a lot of slip angle. I'm pretty sure it is slipping through most of these turns. I feel like I had some lag there. Why? I mean, that was just a little love tap. There's nothing major there. I feel like my game lagged as well. Should have probably downshifted there with a rev match. But that's okay. See if we can hug this bit. I mean, it did, but then it just didn't want to just go into the curb for some reason. But I think we made it past most of the major turns. Okay, now I'm looking at the time. This thing is not very fast, but that's okay. I mean, considering the fact most of the cars that I've driven are super fast, I'm not gonna be too brutal with this about the time, because this thing is not very fast. I mean, it's kind of fast that when I tune it up. If you have this thing tuned up, it's gonna be better than it is stock, of course. But this thing was not very expensive, so I'm not expecting this thing to have some crazy performance or give me some crazy time. We're gonna finish in about 9 something. That's my prediction. You guys can make a prediction as well, or maybe we can finish in 8. Who knows? I'm gonna try to get it in 8 something. So far this thing is handling super well, despite the one little love tap we gave to the barrier because of the lag. I'm pretty sure I lagged there a bit because I was going fast but I was holding the brake and it was not like picking up. So I think I had a little love tap there. That's the only little major crash I had. I wouldn't say that's really a major crash or anything like that, because we just bounced off the barrier pretty much. So that wasn't too bad of a crash. As long as we didn't like do a full 360 or like head on into the barrier, it's good. Okay, I think we actually might finish in 8 something. Which is not the best, but considering the car, it's not bad. But driving in manual on this track is definitely a lot more fun. I'm gonna start doing it because it's very interactive and a lot more fun than when I'm doing it in auto or semi. I mean, semi is kind of fun, but with the manual you gotta also like hit shift before you can get a gear, so that's pretty fun. It's a lot more interactive. They finally got a rev match there. Wow. At least it hooked that curve pretty well. There we go. Now this thing is very fast. Considering the car and the cost of it, it's very fast for a car that's not over 100k. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember the exact price, but I know this thing wasn't over 100k. But it's still pretty fast. A lot more funner than a super. Well, I mean, you can pretty much put every car in this game in manual mode. But I wouldn't really do it with every car because some cars I don't think are made with that. Start slowing it down. I need to work on my rev matching. I mean, I did it a lot of times before, but sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I think I released or I pressed the wrong button, or I think I actually switched gear when I didn't. What? For the handling, that was some great handling. I think this thing has a lot of slip angle, which is not bad. You just gotta know what you're doing. At the start, as I said, I don't think this thing would oversteer. I mean, it did a few times, but it's not that crazy where it couldn't be controlled, or like every time I turn, it just spins the car around and I crash. It's still pretty controllable. And now I'm gonna show you guys setup real quick. But overall, I give this thing a 9 because it's very interactive and it's very fun, especially the fact that I did it manual. I think it's very fun, and I don't really see many cars that can actually slip without causing you problems and making it crash. But for the weight, well, not the weight, the alignment, this is how I have it. Didn't change the rear for anything. For the suspension, this is how I have it. I changed the rear here a bit. Damping, height offset, I lowered it a little bit. Wheel offset, that's pretty much stock. Gearbox, everything is pretty much stock. I think I can mess with it, but I'm gonna leave it. Final drive, and the steering. I honestly think I can kind of make this thing a little more easy to turn if I take off some of the ratio and the lock to lock, maybe. But I think I like it the way it is. I like when it slips a little. It's kind of, I feel like it's a little faster than when you're going in fully straight. Well, I don't know why I'm showing you guys a drive to it. I'm going to keep it front to the drive, of course. And for the tires, oh, I didn't have the race tires equipped. I knew it. I just had that feeling based on the way it was handling. I feel like it could have done a little better if I have the tires. But either way, it still did pretty well with stock tires. But I'm definitely going to change that now. But yeah, I think everyone, if you play the game, you should have this car, not should, but be able to afford it. So when you got it to buy it and test it out, it's not bad. It's not the fastest car in the game, but it definitely handles super well. I think if it was a little more stock, it will handle a little better because it has a lot more power and also it's going into some of these turns a lot faster. But overall, I didn't really have any problem with this thing. So it's definitely a nice car. It's definitely good handling. As I said, it has a lot of slip. When you're taking the turns, it's pretty much just slipping through the turns, which is pretty fun. And if you have this thing in manual and take it on the track, you're gonna have a field day with it. So definitely get this thing and tune it up and test it out.